That's self-suppression. Like, you have to make time for your natural inspiration to flow through you. And if you don't, I think that's what creates depression.
Well, it's very hard for people to get going, just to actually do something. And I brought this up a million times, and I'll bring it up again, unfortunately. Stephen Pressfield has an amazing book called The War of Art. And it's about that suppression that you put on yourself, that weird, and he calls it resistance.
Yes.
And he talks about summoning the muse and deciding that you're a professional and show up every day. And I think it's the same with that. It's the same thing. It's like, it's hard to just get off the couch and put your shoes on. Like Goggins talks about it. He's like, I stare at those motherfuckers for half an hour sometimes. But he always puts them. I believe him.
You think he stares at them for 30 minutes?
Yep, 100%. He doesn't lie. He's telling you the truth.
That's wild.
Yeah, because he brutalizes himself. It makes sense that he stares at them for 30 minutes, but he probably literally stares at them.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
He's just cussing them out.
And then he just puts them on.
You don't know me, son.
Exactly. Then he puts them on. So there's something there,
There is. That resistance that Pressfield talks about, like, that's exactly what I'm talking about here, right?
Yeah, it's doing something to you.
Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a creative, I mean, I think it applies to everyone. Like, the resistance is whatever's holding you back from following your natural inspiration.
Well, I think a big part of that resistance is a fear of failure. There's a thing that hovers over people, this fear of failure, and that actually, it keeps you from just doing the things that you need to do to be successful. You get afraid.
Yes.
For whatever weird reason. It becomes a predominant fear in your head.
Broken code. There's so many reasons. Like, I'll give you an example. So I ran like a big fitness channel when I was trying to make it, before I started working with cool clients who were like Sean Brady, and built a big fitness community. And I would see that, like, a mom who's not doing her exercise, and it's like, why don't you just do it? Just do it. Just get up. Just do it. You go down into her subconscious and find, oh, well, I believe that if I start working out, I won't have time to be the mom that I am right now, and then my kids will leave me. Completely irrational. But subconsciously, that's what exists down there. For so many people, they think they're going to lose out on something, and if they lose it, it's not worth it subconsciously than doing the thing that they're inspired to do.
But it's also sometimes people, their health is bad, and then unfortunately they're not eating correctly, and that's why their health is bad, and they have zero energy. And so the daunting task of doing something on top of working all day, it's almost like overwhelming to them.
Yeah.
And then if they have kids and they have a bunch of, and then the option is get up at 6 a.m. Like, no, fuck
Well, that's
you.
the power of transmuting the energy. So just flipping the energy on it, right? To go from, this is going to make me a worse mom, to this can make me a better mom. And maybe that will give them enough juice to actually go do the workout.
Maybe.
I
mean, there's got to be something that you can do to trick yourself into having the energy to get started. But that's kind of what it is. It's like you have to trick yourself into getting started. And then when you get to an elite athlete level like Brady, it's got to be about making sure the process is airtight, right? It's got to be like really tuning it in, right? Like making sure it's finely tuned.
Yeah. Basically, fight week, I want his energy, I want him to be matter-of-fact about everything. Just matter-of-fact. Just neutral. Just sitting right here. You know the feeling you have in your heart where you're just like present?
Mm-hmm.
Just right there. Right there.
But how do you get there? Like, what's the way to get there?
So for him at that elite level, it's going down and it's clearing out anything that comes up during camp. It might be, and this isn't actually Sean, but like I work with a lot of other fighters, and for them, it would be, oh, I'm losing in some of my sparring sessions. And so their confidence is actually going down because of that. Mm-hmm. And so it's literally reprogramming that belief inside of them. And this sounds woo-woo, but if you ever want to do a session, you'll actually be able to feel it with me. And what happens is we transmute the energy to make them feel that it's okay to believe that even when they're losing in sparring, they're getting better. And so something just shifts inside of them. Instead of it creating a seed of doubt when they're like working on something, they're drilling something and they're not winning everything. Mm-hmm. Now it's, okay, I'm getting better. And it's just a feeling that shifts in them.
Well, that is reality, right? I mean, as long as they're not getting truly beat up.
Rationally, of course.
Sparring at a good place.
But that survival instinct, or that goes, I should be winning everything, doesn't like that. And so sometimes we have to rewire those things. So that's what we're doing as we're going through camp, is like seeing what comes up, what's decreasing confidence, what are you dialed in everything. You know, I'm working with the other coaches as well and making sure, are they doing what you want them to do? And if they're not, what's going on here? And that's kind of my job.
So it has to have rather it requires a very strong connection between you and the athlete?
Oh, deep. I would say that nobody knows any of my clients better than them, except for maybe their wives.
Better than you know them.
Yeah. It's an extreme intimacy because I talk about something in the book called the core wound. So the worst thing that ever happened to you is the worst thing that ever happened to you. But some people have, they might have witnessed a murder, or maybe they lost a parent when they were young, like something really bad. Another person might have been bullied when they're in the 4th grade and kicked out of a friend group. If we identify what that core wound is for them, that fundamentally hurts their confidence to this day, and we clear that out, we can exponentially increase just their confidence and their self-belief. But the only way we get there is they're telling me their deepest, darkest secret.
Right, but how do you clear it out once you...
There's just some of these techniques. There's something called like hypnosis, right? You can use it with hypnosis, NLP. They're all these mind techniques that you can utilize to clear the energy, which clears the emotion.
So NLP, that is like that Anthony Robbins stuff, right?
Neuro-linguistic
programming. That's what he does, right?
I think it's part of what he does. I don't know. I've never worked with him, but...
And did you go to school to learn neuro-linguistic programming?
No, I just studied with someone who taught it to me. Yeah, I just learned very well one-to-one. Just like that's how I learned.
I'm not totally familiar with it. How complicated is NLP? Because I know some people like really believe in it.
It's all perception, right?
What is it? Explain what it means by saying neuro-linguistic programming. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't even know I don't know how to explain neuro-linguistic programming, but I will just tell you what it is.
Okay.
Fundamentally, you're just playing with perception, right? So something's easy for me to get rid of is like the fear of flying. I had this baseball player this year I'm working with. Every time he gets on a flight, he starts freaking out. Unnecessary. So what do? We imagine him on the plane, and I have him visualize being on the plane and starting to get to that place of anxious. What are the thoughts? Oh, the plane's gonna crash. He knows it's irrational, but why is he feeling this anyway? We have to go into it. Feel the emotion. Then I have him imagine, for example, a giant picture in his mind's eye. And this picture is holding him and all the anxiety and the worst case scenario happening. And then we, get rid of the color in the picture. And then we imagine this picture becoming super tiny. And then we imagine it just disappearing. And then we put a new picture in there of him being able to fly, not crash, be able to do it all the time, and be successful.
That's it?
That's it.
What if it was 9/11 and he flew right into the tower right after you gave him that advice?
Well, that sucks.
How would you feel? Would that be it? You'd be like, I quit. I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, they sound like very simple techniques, but it's something you have to experience.
Yeah, but it would seem to me that it would be very difficult to get people to actually change their beliefs that easily. Like, the idea sounds solid, but the actual process of shifting how you view the world, depending upon the person, is like turning a battleship around.
Yeah, it is. It's heavy. I don't know. I mean, this is the stuff that goes beyond the rational mind. Like, if you were to experience it, you'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's a emotional experience. I mean, there's some things we can't explain, right? Like, how do you explain going through the veil in a psychedelic experience? It's something that you can't really explain when you come back on the other side. It's that kind of thing where it's like, when you're in the experience, it's like, how is this supposed to be possible? I explain the techniques irrationally, but like, what are you talking about? Same thing if you have this immense psychedelic experience and you're passing through the veil and you're seeing all these things, having this experience of interconnectedness, and you try to come back and you tell someone who's never had a psychedelic experience, and be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's not enough words.
No.
No words work.
This stuff goes beyond language. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you can say, like, I saw a beautiful rose, and I'm like, oh, cool. I know what that looks like.
That's why exactly.
There's not enough words for a psychedelic experience.
So this work, that's why I put together the playbook. So I give people actual things that they can do, because I understand not everyone's going to work with me one-to-one and be able to experience this. But people can do these simple exercises. People can audit their life, and they can see some of the patterns of thinking. And just the awareness of seeing some of the patterns you're thinking, if you study enough, you might be able to change it. Right? We've all had bad habits. And sometimes it just gets to a point where, like, all right, I'm not doing that anymore.
So this neuro-linguistic programming, do you specifically design this kind of... So you do that as one of the things you do?
Yeah.
Do you specifically design different ones for different people that you work with if you're going to work one-on-one with a client?
Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do before I go into any session. It's all
just... feel it out?
I just feel it. In the present moment. I mean, you could think of it like, I have all these tools I can use, and then I feel into what their issue is, and then I do my best with the tools I have to fix her issue. I'm just problem solving at the moment.
Does it feel weird to do that as a career? I mean, that sounds like a crazy job. It feels like there's so much weight on your shoulders to try to help a person, like especially try to help an elite athlete. Like knowing what to say and how to get their mind tuned in right, and what to introduce, and whether or not this technique is effective. Am I doing this right?
I just don't think I surrender to something bigger than myself. Right? That's what I have to do, is just allow.
How did you know that you could do it though? Like, how did you know that this was going to be like really effective, especially on someone like a fighter, where it's like, this is a really complicated gig? Like, you want to talk about a sport where you have to have your mind right? Like, there's no sport like fighting.
Yeah.
Because any mistake you make, you're going to get head kicked.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I lose too sometimes, right? So like Weidman, I helped him crack his first fight back from after he broke his leg. And he said that's the best he's ever felt in his career going into a fight. He still lost a fight.
Yeah, there's a physical factor there too. That whether or not a guy like Weidman ever wants to admit, because he's so tough, because he has this incredible belief in himself. But a catastrophic break of a bone like that when you're in your late 30s, that is hard to come back from, man. That's not simple.
Yeah.
It takes a long time. And, you know, he came back, you know, he eventually reached a higher level than his first fight back, but he doesn't, you know, necessarily look like Chris Weidman when he beat Anderson Silva. Or Chris Weidman.
He's also 39 now.
Yeah, 40. Yeah. Unfortunately, and these guys, it's like, if you're natural and he's natural, they get to a certain point where the body just can't keep up with the brain. Like, their brain is so strong and they're so tough, but their body is not a 24-year-old's body anymore. It doesn't move right anymore. And this accumulation of injuries, regardless of your belief system. Yeah. It's just, your foot doesn't work anymore, bro. You know?
I mean, that was me understanding, like, when I was 18 years old, I'm like, I'm not that good at football. Like, I don't have the physical gifts. Like, I'm just not that athletic. I'm not going to run that fast. And so this is how I discovered it, right? I started to learn these techniques. Like, I can do things like get rid of someone's headache very easily with some of these techniques. So, like, I have a teammate, had a terrible headache. I'd be like, all right, let's do some of these hypnosis, relaxation techniques. He's like, my headache's gone. I'm like, I'm way better than this than I was at football. And that was a spark within me that made me
I would take him to the hospital. I'm like, bro, you might be having a stroke. Let's get you to the hospital.
It's just a headache. Come on.
When a guy who's a tough guy complains about a headache, I always get concerned.
He wasn't that tough.
Well, he's a football player. He's got to be tough. Yeah. Bro, you want to see tough? Look at LeBron James's feet. I was looking at LeBron James's feet today online. Have you seen him, Jamie? Yeah, for sure. Bro, how does that guy play elite basketball with those fucked up feet? Like, his feet are so broken because of all the years of exploding and twisting and turning, and he's been playing professionally for how long? 20 years? Which is
21, I think.
That's bananas.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Think about the amount of explosions he's forced his feet to perform. Imagine moving back and forth and you weigh 250 pounds. Like, that's nuts. Yeah, that's so much force.
He's not the same species as us. He's something else.
Discipline, bro. But look at those toes. That is bananas. That's bananas. Like, his toes just take, like, sharp turns.
That may or may not be accurate.
That might not be, right? That other one looked better.
That looks pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Let me see that.
It looks a little better.
It's a little over it, but
It's a little over it. But he might be getting it. Maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he did that for the picture, just to be silly.
This is the
So,
one that went viral a while ago. It was on the beach.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. So his big toe goes under the next toe. It's that twisted in. That's obvious.
It also doesn't look the same foot as that foot.
You know, Brian Simpson was having a problem with that too because he's got wide feet, and I told him about yoga toes.
Yep.
That stuff works, man. You ever use those?
Mm-mm.
They stretch
Spread
your
them
feet
out.
out. You put your toes in there, and they stretch. It's like a little rubber stopper in between each little toesy,
I need some of
and
that.
it stretches your foot out and makes it, you know, feel better. It relieves the pressure that you're getting with narrow-toed shoes, where it's squishing it in the front, fucking your feet up.
Nice.
But to be that tough to play basketball with that kind of a foot for 20 plus years, that's nuts.
Yeah. He's taking a lot of
To be
lot of
Goggins and
beatings.
run with no knees, nuts. Nuts.
That's what inspiration does, though. You know, I think these guys just want it. They want it. They want to keep going. They want to keep pushing. They want to see what's possible.
Yeah, I was watching a fight today. One of my little chat groups that I have with Dean Thomas and Matt Serra and John Rollo. A guy was fighting in a box. It looks like a boxing match, and he has one leg. So he's hopping around with one leg trying to fuck this guy up. So if you ever think like maybe, here, let me find this. You ever think like maybe life has been too hard on me? Maybe the barriers in front of me
Try
are
boxing with one leg.
insurmountable. Try fucking doing what this guy's doing, because this is really kind of crazy. And I don't understand what they're doing, because they're barefoot, but they're not kicking. And I guess the guy can't kick because he only has one leg. Maybe they agreed, no kicking. But like, why put a shoe on?
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand why. If you guys aren't going to kick, why don't you have shoes on? It's better for your grip. But this guy's hopping around. Did you get it, Jamie? This guy's hopping around throwing punches with literally one leg. Look at this.
Ooh.
How nuts is that? One thing you do have to think, it sucks that he only has one leg, but I bet he weighs about 40 pounds lighter that way.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he's probably got some strong-ass arms. But you can only generate so much force with one leg.
I can't even balance on one leg.
I know, his balance is insane, man. And his movement's really good, too. Like, there's people that have two legs that don't move that good. It's nuts. The other dude's like, I wish I could leg kick you. Like, that's so not fair. You can guarantee that dude can't kick you back.
So explosive.
But it's just pretty nutty that, you know, he's still willing to fight. And he's hitting this guy. I mean, it's...
The human will.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is incredible. The human mind can do very strange things if you let it keep going down a path and keep getting better and better.
Yes.
You know, you can get to a very strange place that, you know, a lot of people don't want to believe exists.
Yeah. Just to keep expanding the possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exposing yourself to new things. I think that's why, like, people in my field, traditionally, like, they're not doing psychedelics. Like, it's not really a thing that people do.
Why do you think that is? I would think that anybody that's really exploring how the mind works.
I'd say maybe more sports psychology, stuff like that, because they're more clinical. They're more clinical people. You know, they're doctors. They're people who are much more clinical and methodical about things. But for me, like, my full ego death through the Bufo toad was fundamentally the most important part of me learning to do what I do. Because in that experience, it created enough space between me and all my beliefs. You know, it's that, like, that neuroplasticity that gets created in those moments afterwards, where you can actually kind of see things. You can kind of see the forest from the trees. If you never have the experience, then, like, this is something people talk about all the time, right? Is the whole thing, the ego is the enemy. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, it depends what you're considering the ego, because you can't get rid of the ego. If the ego dies, then you're just in the oneness, right? So you need the ego, but you have to build it up. And I think for fighters especially, like, they need massive egos, but they need healthy egos. Egos that are programmed to succeed.
Yeah, no ego is not attainable. If you're a human being, you're going to have an ego. You just have to figure out how to manage it, and don't let it burn your house down. You know, it's like that Customato quote about fear. Fear is like fire. You can cook your food with it, or if it gets out of control, it'll burn your house down.
Yeah.
I think that's the case with many, many things, including psychedelics, by the way. I think there's a lot of people that burn their house down.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that go really far and they lose their grip on reality. And reality gets real slippery, and they sort of try to redefine reality to fit their own narrative, and they seem schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I've seen that from multiple people that have taken too many psychedelics.
I mean, they're just abusing it. You got to use it like a tool.
Well, yeah. But it's also, everybody has their own specific way that they interact with the world. And if you're taking psychedelics to justify your specific way of interacting with the world, and then you start indoctrinating other people to your specific way of running the world, and you try to, like, have a branch off civilization, like, that's like this thing that happens to guys in particular. You don't see a lot of, like, female guru psychedelic ladies, you know, or they're more like mother figures, but not like gurus. The gurus are all dudes, and it almost always
Sex.
It's always
always
boils
coming back
down
to
to
sex.
pussy, almost always, or dick, depending on what you're into.
Yeah.
Because the guy out here in Texas, in Austin, was there's a building that Ron White loved called the One World Theater that we were actually under contract for before I wound up buying the mothership, and that place was run by a cult. And this guy was a gay guy. He was a gay porn star and a hypnotist.
There you go. That's a deadly combo right there.
Who was teaching yoga to folks in West Hollywood and slowly but surely formed a cult. And then after Waco, remember the Waco thing went down, everybody panicked, and the Cult Awareness Network apparently was like looking for him and looking into him because like a lot of the family was like, we lost my son. He went to that. So then he decided to change his name, and then he moved to Austin, and he had his followers build him a theater so he could dance in front of them, and that's here. And there's a crazy documentary called Holy Hell. But this guy, this is what's crazy. The people that hated him at the end of the documentary, the people that said that he was a giant scammer and he was a piece of shit and they wish they had never met him, they all said